Thank you for joining us back here on the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast and a continuation of the last segment. In this segment now, answering more questions on this Cowboys and Browns game that we saw just yesterday. Dallas defeating the Browns 33-17 in comfortable fashion yesterday. A well-rounded win with really everyone chipping in. Like I said in the last segment, it's not like Dak carried the Cowboys or anything like that. It's not like CeeDee Lamb had an amazing game for his standards. Also, the defense played great, but it's not like they had pick sixes or anything like that or forced fumbles or anything like that. They had 2 interceptions, but still 33-17 I think was pretty flattering for the Cleveland Browns in this game. And I'll even chalk it up to some of the coaching, the game planning around this game for the Dallas Cowboys and how well they executed on everything. It looked like everything went exactly how they planned it. Dak hardly ever facing any struggle or stress in the game. He looked very much in tune with everything. Every throw was supposed to go where it needed to go, when it needed to go there. So, huge credit to the Cowboys, and very impressed with them because, like I said before, I thought they were going to lose this game, and I was expecting more out of the Cleveland Browns, and that's where my answer sort of lies with this question, right? More impressed with the Cowboys or disappointed with the Browns? And just because I picked the Browns to win this game and thinking that Deshaun Watson was going to show us a little bit more, it has to be more that I'm disappointed with the Browns than I am with the Dallas Cowboys, more than I am impressed with the Cowboys because it is a good win. I don't want to diminish the efforts that the Cowboys put into this game, right? With all the distractions, leaving everything to last minute. This was a good win for them, a good road win for one of their tougher road wins that they're going to have on their schedule. But, the Browns just like putting up the display that they did, and especially at the quarterback position, everything in the NFL lives and dies pretty much with the quarterback spot, right? Anything regarding a good team, a bad team, you could look at their quarterback and, find a lot of answers in how that quarterback is playing. They get the most amount of money. They're the stars of the entire league pretty much. The quarterback is exponentially so important to every team, and once they play good, that's when they're hyped up a lot, right? That's when you hear a lot about Tua or Trevor or some of these other guys that might have a great game. It's amplified even more because it's a quarterback performance on top of who they are, how well that they played and everything like that. But also on the flip side of that, once they play bad, it's the end of the world, right? It's everything that you don't hope to happen with your franchise, especially with an organization like the Browns who have been longing for a quarterback like they thought they were getting in Deshaun Watson, and then to have it all play out in this way after 3 years or now entering year 3, there's a lot of concerns now, a lot of concerns around Deshaun Watson, and the story with this game obviously goes to the quarterbacks who would perform better to start the year. Both of these quarterbacks were facing a lot of pressure with Dak and the contract and everything like that, and just being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And Deshaun, trying in any way possible to show everybody that, the last 2 years, there was a lot of troubles. There was a lot of things that he went through with the suspensions and the injuries and stuff like that. You really wanted to put that in the past. But again, now that the team says that you're healthy, you're fully ready to go, that shoulder's not bothering you, you still put up a disappointing performance like this. Now we're starting to run out of excuses, right? We're starting to run out of time, really, for Deshaun Watson. More and more, I think people are starting to realize that this Houston version of Deshaun might, start to lose a little bit of steam here as we go over the rest of this year. You hope that it's still in there. You hope to see it at some point, but you're starting to become less and less confident that that is going to happen. And ultimately, it came down to how both of them played in this game. Because Dak, like I said before, was cool, calm, orchestrated a lot of the offense, executed everything very well. And, on the other side, Deshaun Watson was evidently not that, because some of the throws were just, like I said, late, inaccurate, or just not deciding on the right throw to make at that time. There was a lot of just questionable throws, I will say, for a lack of a better terms, questionable throws, decision making, and everything like that, holding onto the ball a little bit too long goes along those lines, right? You make a couple of bad throws, then the next throw, it looks like it's there, but you don't want to make another mistake. You roll out, you're still looking for options, but that might have been your only one. And now you're out of options, and you either take that sack like he did in 6 occasions yesterday, or you throw up a bad pass and have the risk of it being intercepted, right? That all comes with the doubt, the couple of inaccurate throws, messing up your rhythm, and now the quarterback, Deshaun Watson, is a little bit lost, and it becomes evident, like I said, when everything is pretty much even. It's an even playing field everywhere on both of these teams except the quarterback positions, right? That's why you pay these two guys, funny enough, the most guaranteed money in NFL history, originally held by Deshaun Watson, and now it becomes Dak Prescott with his new extension. One of them already after one game already pretty much is giving you more hope that they're going to live up to that contract over Deshaun Watson that has been on this contract for the last couple of years but has yet to shown us that, that was a good investment. And not only the money, right, because the money is what it is now. It's going to go to Deshaun either way, but you look at the picks and everything that they had to give up, how Houston turned all of those picks, all of that draft capital into their juggernaut of the team that they have now. And it makes you look back on that trade and, calling it the worst trade of all time. I feel like I hear that term every year with some of these blockbuster deals, but it's certainly going to be up there. With that being said, I hear it a lot. It's thrown out a lot, but this trade, now looking back on it in hindsight and how, it has all turned out, all of that isn't playing and it isn't doing Deshaun Watson any favors right now. And this game wasn't as close as the score sort of suggested there. Also, everything or most of what Deshaun Watson ran each play out of the pistol or shotgun, meaning that it was all pretty much easier for Dallas to get to him. Like we said with Kirk, like we alluded to a little bit with Aaron Rodgers, a lot of the sets for Cleveland and Deshaun Watson were held out of the pistol or shotgun formation and everything like that. So it's not like they were doing too much to kind of help Deshaun Watson out a little bit. And that's where I'll cut him some slack, where you can't just keep running everything out of the same formation, especially against a good defense just in general, but also a good defensive coach in Mike Zimmer. If you see that throughout the entire game, throughout an entire half or anything like that, and you don't include any play actions or bootlegs or anything like that, or some formations out of center, like right behind the center, it becomes easier for their pass rushers to just come and have a free shot at you, have your offensive line be in constant one-on-one matchups, and it has no real creativity to kind of keep the defense on their toes. Everyone is playing up to their man, making sure that Deshaun tries to throw it quickly, because if he doesn't, that pass rush is going to get to him either way, and that's what comes with the bad decisions, the hurried throws, the inaccurate throws, and then you're second-guessing everything, right? And it was just a sloppy game overall from the Browns and Deshaun Watson. And also, what was crazy, and I saw this on ESPN this morning, for all the plays that they had, the Cleveland Browns, 43% of all of their plays were either no gains or negative gains. And I don't know how many plays exactly there are in an NFL game. I can't even throw out a random number because I don't know exactly how accurate it'll be. But to have almost 50% of it be negative or just gain no yards, again, it shows that 33-17, super flattering, because if half of your plays are staying right where you are or you're losing yards, there's no, what are we even talking about in that sense, talking about the Browns against a great team, great defense, I'll say, with the Dallas Cowboys, with some great players like Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, Trayvon Diggs on there, a good defensive coordinator in Mike Zimmer. If they're not even worried, or they're doing so well that you're not even gaining any yards on half of your plays, it's insane to think about. And I think that really reflects the dominance that we saw in this game from the Cowboys and or over the Cleveland Browns. And the run game even looked good with Ezekiel Elliott, but we're not going to overreact to just that aspect. Again, I think the Cowboys did a good job in the run game. Dak did a good job of orchestrating everything. Dallas did surprise me, I'll admit that, on offense and defense. And the character of this team to not only win, but go on the road against the top defense and just shut out the noise, finally get everything done. Like Jerry Jones said, to his credit, everything would get done. And, still win, put up 30-something points on this team. That is great for them. I was surprised in that aspect, but still, I would just say I'm more disappointed by the Browns just because the belief with Cleveland is that they have a championship roster, but Deshaun Watson is becoming the clear disconnect from what we saw last year in the second half of the year to what we're seeing right now. And people are just going to be calling more and more as the games, sort of play out. I don't know who they're playing next week, but I know some of their games are against the Raiders, the Giants, and some other team along the next couple of weeks. And you have some hope there that it will get better, right? The Raiders just lost, the Giants just lost, but if it doesn't get any better, people are going to start calling for something to be done about Deshaun Watson and this team because of the fact that they just saw Joe Flacco walk in basically and make this team unrecognizable from last year to this year. And the only thing that changed was the quarterback. There only comes so much time before everyone starts pointing out the obvious. And what happens to Deshaun Watson after that still remains a huge question, but that's still a long ways away. As the weeks go on, maybe the Browns change something about their offense or anything like that to try and help out Deshaun, but right now it wasn't a great opening game for the Browns and Deshaun Watson. That's why I'm very much disappointed more so in the Browns than I am with the Dallas Cowboys and impressed with the way that they won this game. But that is already in the past. And speaking of a game that's in the past, we were so caught up in everything over Sunday. A lot more things that I could have talked about, but I had to bring up Friday's game, right? The first ever game in Brazil, Saquon Barkley dominating in that game against a very keen Packers team. I wanted to review that game, talk about Saquon dominating in that game overall, and just my thoughts from it. It was a great game back and forth, so we're going to review that game in its totality for this last segment. We'll be right back after this break.